this issue of Brian Thompson, one of the top healthcare executives in the country, I'm just curious why your first reaction would be to his cold-blooded execution. And people wonder why we want these executives dead. And then you later commented when people were giving you a lot of blowback, I'm not alone, you said. Healthcare executive down with party balloons was on an next post that you commented on. Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not.
I thought the life side was the right. I guess no matter where you spin it, right? The pro-life and everything. But I guess, genocide for lefts, we speak of it. But I think the right's also been on the Palestine thing. I don't know how much of that is just people just not fucking with Jewish people, or I don't know.
Not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make...
It is actually surprising how many people were like, meh. It's probably more of a people... It's really hard to... trying to figure out how to say this correct. I think it's hard for people in general to care about certain people that they don't know at all. They don't have any attachment to. They never heard of this person. They don't know. They could probably understand that the situation is like, oh, that's fucked up. But I still got to go to work. Got to pay my bills. I got to raise my kids. I got to do sorry, it's tragic. People die every day, B. I'm not saying that in a rude, disrespectful way. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But it's the reality. The world didn't stop. My homie got gunned down. It's like that type of mentality. So I think it's not so much that we find joy, or I don't think it's so much that these people find joy in it. I think most people probably just don't care. And for the people that do find joy, I'm seeing them because, a person died, right? It should be sad. It should be fucked up. But for these people that don't feel that way, I see a lot of people posting. Now, I'm not digging into it, figuring out what's what, but they're showing a lot of dead people because of, denied claims or couldn't get this insurance or couldn't get this medication, whatever the case is. Couldn't afford it. A lot of dead bodies. And it's like perspective. A lot of people dead over here, one person dead over here. Now, is that justifiable? I don't think so. I also don't think that it changes anything. So there's really no point. It's kind of like for those people, it seems to be more of a victory of symbolism more than anything, which sucks because that's a person's life. Yeah, I don't know. We times are getting really different, really different. So, yeah, let's keep watching.
Thousands of Americans that he murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer and in some cases die because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
But why not?
And,
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the system.
You seem to find the whole thing hilarious.
I find your question funny.
A bloke's been murdered.
How you gonna ask her a question and not let her talk though? I get you trying to stick it to her because you're upset that you trying to have the moral high ground here is what you're really trying to do. But yeah, let her if you're gonna ask her a question, let her answer. Whether you agree or disagree. In
the street, I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny.
You're also not her parent. If you don't like her that much, you can go kick her off your show.
That tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving healthcare from people like the CEO. Now, I want to fix this system. You're right. We shouldn't be going around shooting each other with vigilante justice. No. I think that it is a good thing that this murder has led to America, or really the media elites and politicians in this country paying attention to this issue for the first time. You mentioned you couldn't understand why somebody would feel this reaction when they watched a CEO die. It's because you have not dealt, it sounds like, with the American healthcare system in the way that millions of other Americans have.
I've dealt with the healthcare system in various ways in America. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but the idea that I would view it as something.
Have you been denied life
Hang on.
saving
The idea that I would view it as something joyful that a man has been, who's just a healthcare executive, has been executed in the street, I find completely bizarre. Let me bring in Tommy here. Tommy, you know, I keep being told. Hang on, Taylor. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Tommy.
Damn. Yeah. This is the problem. Also, this is the issue with our discourse, right? People want to say, "Oh, we're having discourse. Oh, we're having the left and the right and the top, blah blah," but nobody's really talking, right? It's really how much can I shit on you real quick, and it's a lot of time, and get the fuck out of here. And yay, we owned it. A lot of the people that watch shows like this, and you're also not here to get an educational conversation. You don't really care about the discourse, because if you do, you wouldn't watch this shit. You wouldn't watch this type of shit. Because nobody's really talking. Everybody's talking at people. Somebody's trying to make a point. A person who owns the show, whatever show or podcast it might be, are gonna just talk over, say their shit, or go on to the next thing, or not hold some people to hard questions and give other people easy questions. Like, you're not really getting much, and if anything, you're just feeding your own bias, right? So you believe stronger in what you're saying. You're never really getting challenged on your views or your beliefs, to know that those are actually strong beliefs to have, right? These shows really don't do a good job of that.
I'm joyful. I said
you said you were feeling joyful.
Yeah, I take that back. Joyful is the wrong word, Piers.
You think?
I said, as I clarified, yeah.
You think joyful?
You see what I'm saying? Like, even her stepping back, maybe to clarify or maybe to fix it and say, hey, you know, I'm not saying that she's about to say she was wrong, but you don't know what she's about. She's going to say, hey, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I'm a little too, I'm using the wrong words because I'm trying to over embellish in this moment. But does find some sort of middle ground. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But even if that's what it is, you see, he's not even letting her do that. He's like, no. Stay on that fucking island. I want to present you as the craziest person possible. Don't swim back to shore. Stay far fuck away from this land as possible. Like, go out in crazy waters.
Feels the wrong word? Yeah.
Sure.
I'd say it is.
Vindicated, celebratory, because again, it feels like justice in this system when somebody responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans suffers the same fate as those tens of thousands of Americans who he murdered. Or
Tommy, whether Taylor wants to retract the word joyful or not, we all heard her say it, and I was just shocked.
See what I'm saying? Exactly. So even if I try to retract, I'm not putting myself in it, but even if she tries to retract it, he's like, nah, stay there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even, you can't come back from that. Just because you said it, no. Now, I will say, the fucked up part about this is, let Trump say something. Pierce gonna be like, yeah, you said it, but, he plays. He jokes like that. It's Trump. Come on, it's Trump. Just saying.
I mean, I find that kind of response utterly shocking, that someone could be murdered in the middle of Manhattan, who happens to be an executive for a healthcare company, and people think this is something that makes them feel joyful.
Yeah, this is still the remnants of the incredibly bratty Occupy Wall Street movement that's morphed into 100 other movements by now, all equally as disgusting. But to celebrate the murder of a husband and a father simply because you disagree with his position at a company, or you disagree with the company, or you disagree with the system of healthcare that we have in the U.S. is quite frankly sick, twisted, and disgusting. Why you'd celebrate anybody's murder, especially just an innocent man who you happen to disagree with, is really shocking to me. But it also just goes to show that the left, and many on the left, have a tendency to believe that violence like this, political violence, is necessary. It's a means to an end. And if they believe in the end and they believe in the means, it's really sick and wrong. If you want to have a conversation about healthcare in this country, that's fine. Let's have that.
The real answer is everybody probably feels this at a point. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. And what I mean, so I can clarify, is everybody feels like if things get bad enough, violence is necessary. That's literally the inception of our country. So if you're a real American, idealistically, you believe in that, right? If things get bad, the issue is, how do you know when things are that bad? How do you know when it's a time to fight? Before the presidency, I feel like the right was the main ones talking about, civil war in the streets. We going out here, we doing this, we doing that. We got the guns, we got the military experience, we got the mixed martial arts, we got to this, we got we'll beat all those little soft snowflakes up. Because I feel like when you push into this corner and you got all these, at least the channels you're in, you're constantly hearing things are bad, things are this, things are that. This is the way our country, this is bad, this is over, this is the end, this is that. They're doing this to your kids, this and that. They're poisoning your food, they're poisoning your healthcare, they're poisoning your this, they're robbing you for your finance, they're doing this. It's all of this negative shit. Yeah, at what point do you go, okay, wait, hold on, I gotta fight. I have to fight. It's over. You know what I mean? So both sides engage in this. Don't sit here like the right is just, oh, we're good. The left always want to fight for some reason. Come on. When you feel backed into a corner enough, and both sides probably feel like that right now. And that's why you see both sides reacting the way they do.
That all day long, but to be joyful or even to say you're not empathetic about somebody losing their life when they leave behind 2 young boys, especially during the holiday season, the same day that millions of New Yorkers are celebrating a tree lighting. I mean, that's just too far.
I don't think the holiday season matters at all when you lose a parent. I'm gonna just say that. I don't think this heightens the moment. I don't think it's, oh, our Christmas is forever ruined, because he could have got murdered in May and Christmas would have been fucked because it's Christmas without dad now. So that doesn't make that. Who cares?
Far for me, a bridge too far. The loving and tolerant left is at it again, Piers.
Honestly, I find it unbelievable. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Tommy's insane mischaracterization of why people are angry. It has nothing to do with Occupy Wall Street. This is a feeling that people feel across the left and the right. You mentioned Ben Shapiro earlier in his video about the healthcare exec. I encourage people to check the comment section on that video, okay? 100% of America is united on this, or rather the majority of America is united on this. We do not think that this healthcare system that is murdering, again, thousands of innocent Americans who, by the way, Tommy, also have families, also have children. These people are being killed by our barbaric and evil for-profit healthcare system. And I agree, we should not necessarily go around shooting people in the street. And while I am joyful that this issue has been brought to attention,
did you hear that, Piers? Not necessarily.
I knew she was gonna say not necessarily. I knew it. As soon as the lady said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna bite her.
It's just unbelievable.
They shouldn't be shot in the streets. They shouldn't be shot in the streets because, again, it doesn't solve the systemic problem. You could United Healthcare will just appoint a new ghoulish CEO. The point is that we need to fix these systems so that, again, people like Brian or whoever's in charge of these companies stops murdering tens of thousands of innocent Americans. That is the crime.
Let me bring in Mark on this. I mean, Mark, I'm sorry, but there's just no justification for laughing your way through a segment like this, talking about how joyful you were that this happened. Is there?
Again, I'm not joyful that it happened.
Taylor, I'm asking Mark, not you.
Well, then stop.
I heard you. You said it. You may have recanted it, but unfortunately,
no, I'm clarifying it because,
unfortunately,
again,
as you know, this show keeps receipts. We all know what we saw.
So I can't ever. So there's no room for growth. There's no room for, hey, yeah, maybe what I said was too inflammatory. Let me take that back. Let me try something different. Nah. You said it. Fuck it. That's you. Live it. Stamp it.
We all know what we heard.
I'm not denying that I said it, but I'm denying that your interpretation of it, which is an insane.
I know what joyful means. It fills you with joy.
I'm joyful that people are paying attention to this issue.
No, you were joyful that he got murdered. That's what you said.
I am.
Then you realized what you said. Then you realized what you said.
Okay, and then can she take it back if she realized what she said? Or she literally just have to, you stuck with this. That's it for the rest of your life. The next 50 years, this is you. Damn, that's harsh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm clarifying it for you.
Thought, that's going to make things even worse for me. Mark, let me bring you in.
No, just to be clear, things are great for me because, again, I am on the side of the rest of America, which believes that this for-profit healthcare system.
Actually, you're not, because most Americans do not think they felt joy in that moment. It's you.
No, because, again, I didn't feel joy in that moment.
I don't know how true that is. I can't even poll it at this point. It's probably a lot of Americans that did feel joyful. Piers might actually be wrong about that. So I don't know. Might be a lot of people.
I felt joy that people were paying attention to this issue.
You told me you did.
Again,
and now she's telling you she didn't.
No, I tell you what, just to clarify, do you want me to play it again? Do you want me to remind you?
Stop misrepresenting my views.
Do you want me to remind you what you said? Do you want me to remind you?
You can repeat what I said all I want, but again, you're misrepresenting my views. I am telling you how I feel.
Social media will remind you later. Don't worry about it. Mark.
Again, Piers, I'm glad you're
Taylor,
able
can
to
you show some manners to your other panelists, please? Mark.
Well, stop misquoting me.
No, I quoted you directly. You then recanted it.
Well, then stop misrepresenting my.
So what is that? If I say something, then I recant it. Do we not take the new? No, you said it's weird.
Views and my feelings.
You felt joyful, then you wished you hadn't said it because you knew how bad it sounded.
No, Piers. No, Piers.
I quoted you directly. Mark.
Again, you are misrepresenting how I feel.
So let me as an independent third person here, along the time of third and fourth person here, maybe offer some clarity to this. It sounds like she used the word joy. You found it appalling.
Did you?
She says that she misspoke. She recanted, and you're saying that despite her recanting, she still said it in the first place. It seems to me to me the question is just whether you believe her or not. But we can move past that. I happen to think that none of us should find joy in death.
Is this a tear on his face? It's distracting me. I can't stop saying it.
None of us should find joy in people being killed. This was a person. This was a human being. This was somebody who was loved and loved people. I find no joy, no value, no humor in any human loss of life or animal loss of life. But in this case, I think it's important to stress that because of everything that happened on the internet. That said, we can have two conversations simultaneously. We can find great sadness in the fact that this man was killed, and also see it as a valuable and rich site of opportunity to discuss the bigger picture of healthcare in America, which doesn't lead to individual political assassinations, but does lead to the death of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and maybe even millions of people every single day, some of which is entirely preventable. We live in a system that prioritizes profits over people. And the fact that so many people who are otherwise normal and humane and loving and empathetic were able to find humor or joy in this tragic death, it says something about who we are as people, but it also says something to how this wicked system has damaged us and corroded our character and eroded our sensibilities. I'm saying let's have that conversation about how sad this man's individual death is, but let's not let that be the only story that we tell. Let's also tell the story about this healthcare system. That's all.
Obviously, there's a much.
Is it no question about that? Because have you talked about that, Piers?
Bigger debate to have about healthcare system.
Yeah, I don't know if Piers has that debate. But I mean, I think that was well said from Mark. I think for the most part, I agree with a lot of things that I hear Mark have been saying. Like, he also is like, I think he's like a regular now on Joe Budden. So it's nice to see. It's so weird, man. Like, a lot of the stuff that I'm into on the internet, it seems like it's like really crossing paths. And the weird part about that is like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of these things on the internet were like in their own bubbles. Like, I never would have imagined. Like, it was kind of cool. Like, oh man, don't nobody know about this. This is like a gym over here. Then you look over here like, oh, this is another gym. And then it's over here like, oh, this is another gym. And now these gyms are like somehow attracted to the Infinity Gauntlet. And it's like, oh, they're all together. This is weird. Anyway, back to the point. I think a lot of things that I hear Lamont say are actually pretty cool. For the most part, I think I agree. I haven't heard a lot of his content, but it's not a lot that I dislike. So, well said.